Previously on
Mochi making terrible life decisions.
Now, as I was messing around with this, unfortunately, my program crashed, and then my program crashed again. And I pretty much had to do everything off camera. So we're back again, and yeah, I did have to record a lot of things off camera, so you'll definitely see a lot of like jump cuts and everything. So I decided to try to work on like the breathing animation for the wings, because I wanted the wings to move as he was breathing. I guess I could have done like an idle animation too for the wings, but I don't know, I just don't like to do extra idle animations. I already set the crying as an idle animation, so yeah. The wing animation was a lot easier than I thought. I just had to simply move around some parts, stretch out a few more parts, and it turned out really nice. I actually am very pleased with how it turns out. And of course, like, you know, that separation I did for the wings was worth it for this to look actually decent. So there was a lot that I had to do today because I desperately wanted to get this model done. I was working as hard as I can. So that day I had to do like hair physics and everything. So obviously I split up his hair into multiple pieces, so I had to like animate each one of those pieces, which was painful because, you know, it was so many pieces. I started out with his left side, so I had split it up into like maybe 5 or 6 sections. I don't remember correctly, but like it was definitely a lot more than his right side. And I'll admit, the physics look a bit janky at some parts. I mean, heck, the physics are always what I struggle on because I have a hard time like animating them to be smoothly, especially the Y physics, where they have to go up and down. So yeah. I'd say, like, you know, after looking at the final product and everything, it actually turned out okay, but I always tell myself I could do better. I could always improve it and whatnot. So yeah, there was just a lot of like having to do these physics and everything, but overall it was definitely worth it once you see the hair completely come together and whatnot. Though, like, you know, the method I chose to like animate the physics was using like temporary deformers and whatnot. It was great and all, but they did severely warp some parts of his hair, but it's fine. You won't notice. I mean, it's just physics. It'll bounce back to normal, right? So, like, you know, I started out with the front parts of his hair for obvious reasons. And, like, you know, things were going, like, relatively smoothly. I was checking in, and I had noticed things were off with his eyes, so I went in and, like, you know, fixed those too, because whenever he moved his eyes around, the demon pupils and everything showed, and I didn't want that unless I had to toggle on. So I had to go ahead and try to, like, fix that. But unfortunately, when I tried to fix it, my program then crashed, which was really annoying and inconvenient. So I had to stop recording, like, the footage and just start doing a lot of stuff off screen. So off camera, I had to finish all the hair physics because I had kept trying to record after that, but my program kept crashing, and again, I think it has something to do with, like, you know, my computer not being able to handle it all. So yeah, but at least I finished the hair physics and whatnot. So what I had to do next was rig the body, which was not easy. I had to like hope that like nobody walked in on me as I was trying to do this. It was very awkward. So the thing with me is that I don't have my own studio where I do these kinds of things, so I have to kind of like just do these out in the open and just pray that nobody like thought much of it. Something I did with this one that I didn't do with my other model was actually utilize draw order. You'll see me like utilize it with like, you know, turning over and everything. And it was kind of nice, you know. I liked how it looked overall, but it actually screwed me up when I had to do his tops later and everything. But at the time I didn't think much of it. So to me it was kind of something that was like nice, you know. So then I had to like kind of rig his legs. And I'll admit, for the X, I'm not too proud of it. They morphed a lot and they looked really, really weird. I did not like how it turned out, but at least his feet are covered by the shoes, so I guess it doesn't matter. The feet when going up and down on the Y looked okay though, just because I drew them pigeon-toed, so it was easier to see them like going down like that, you know? But, you know, well, but the X and Y definitely not proud of. It just kept morphing and I just need to get better and just everything. Or I just don't deal with the legs at all. Just have a slight turn of the torso. I don't know why. I don't even know why I bothered trying to have like have most of his body move when in reality I don't really need it to move like that. So the next thing I kind of like, you know, I kind of just copied and pasted the leg over. And of course I used Chupaco's tutorial because I liked the body physics. So I would like go ahead and try to like give him his body physics and whatnot. Here you're gonna see me working on like, you know, the Y body. And I separated the hips from like the leg, from like the upper torso this time. So I had to like animate that like separately. So that was like a lot of pain and trying to figure out what the heck am I doing, you know? But I think overall I eventually figured it out. Definitely doing like, you know, the Y for the legs was much easier because of how I drew the legs. It's much easier for you to see them like go up and then go down and everything. Like with my main model, it just looks like her legs are morphing and that's not too pleasant. Honestly, if I just wanted to avoid rigging legs in general, I think I should have just done a mermaid. I just make everyone mermaids and just say screw rigging legs, just give everyone some wacky tail physics and just call it a day. So yeah, you'll see me like testing out like, you know, the physics there and whatnot. So the next thing I had to do was like, you know, mess around with the arms, because for the Y I wanted the arms to move like, you know, in a specific way. And here you can see me struggle with like, you know, the arms and figure out how to get them to move at like, you know, the same time. I ended up having to just do the copy paste reflect everything and then just try to, you know, do it. I think overall it like turned okay and whatnot. Like it looked somewhat natural, which is good. So then I had to like, you know, because I rigged the body, I have to rig how like, you know, the wings looked next to Y, because the wings are going to morph a little bit depending on how you turn and everything. So that was definitely like a challenge. I mean, I was very lazy on the wings in all honesty, but hey, in the end they worked out, so we're not gonna complain. So it's like, I'm sorry, I'm kind of like rambling over here. There's just a lot going on this day and it's hard to fill up the time with just words and whatnot. I definitely just sat there for a bit, kind of contemplating things. I had other things to do in real life, so this frame kind of stays on for a bit, but don't worry, I get back to work and whatnot. So yeah, I got back to like having to rig the bodies and whatnot, and like making sure that everything looks right. And then I obviously had to rig the Z body because my models look so stiff and flat without it. Like they're already pretty stiff, but they just look even stiffer without the Z body. Since I drew the legs in that way, making the legs like, you know, lean and everything for the Z was a lot easier, you know. So it was definitely like, I definitely did myself several favors there just by drawing the legs like that. And I guess for future models, I'll just draw the legs pigeon-toed like that just for the sake of rigging. Okay, and here you're definitely gonna see more physics testing. I actually struggled with like, you know, putting the cursor tracking settings for a bit, because I didn't realize I had to redo it for all like, you know, the models and everything. So I had to like fix everything. So after I did the basic body, I had to rig like, you know, the thing for his piano toggle, and the reason why I give him that piano toggle is because I'm extra. That's my only reason. Okay, I'm kidding, but like, you know, it's because he plays piano, and I thought it would be a cool little toggle to have, you know, because it's kind of because he's like a character of mine, and I did give him an original Instagram account. If I ever find the will, I can maybe have him do his own post piano covers or something, you know. I mean, I myself can definitely act it out, because I did play piano, though it's not like professional level. So you'll see me testing out everything, making sure it all looks right and whatnot. A lot of like testing, a lot of like trying to figure out what the heck's going on. So now I finally got to having to rig the outfits, and this is where draw order messed me up. Because I have to like change the draw order of anything to be like much higher. And I also had to add several keyframes in between the body X, so it's gonna look really messy, and I'm not a huge fan of that. So yeah, I had to change like the draw order for like because I split up the chest from like the main top for like all the clothes, because when you have like a chest, it will pop out a little bit more when you turn to the right or left, so that's why I have it separate, so I can do that illusion. But because I had the chest on draw order and everything, I had to subsequently change the draw order of everything much higher, and it was just kind of painful. But I'm just lucky I survived it, pretty much. Definitely like, you know, his main outfit was not the hardest outfit to rig. It was his second outfit that actually got me. His main outfit, I would actually say, was pretty easy, despite kind of like, you know, all the stuff. Despite like all the things and whatnot. But his second outfit, like as you'll see like much later in the video, it's long sleeve, it has several layers and parts, and it meant that I had to get like the draw order right and kind of like make sure all my layers look correct. And I actually saw that I didn't even cut it correctly, so I had to go back and kind of like make some really bad edits. It looks a little wonky when you see like, you know, him move around in his second outfit, but it was kind of like the best I could do, so we were kind of like having to deal with it. Also, your video is not frozen or anything. I had to leave again to do some like a lot more life stuff. I should have just like stopped the recording or something right there. I actually left for quite a while, but then I like came back. If there was something that like I'm gonna do for future models, it's not separate like, you know, the torso into the upper torso and the lower torso. I didn't necessarily use the parts, so the separation was unnecessary. Future models, guys. Future models, I will not make the same stupid mistakes. Okay, so yes, you can see me struggling with the whole like trying to get this tank top to like look correct and whatnot. Because of how the draw order is and how I split up, everything just looks so odd. Everything like spazzes out, and that's why I had to put in a bunch of frames in between just to make sure things looked right. It was not a pleasant experience, like whatsoever. But there wasn't much I could do about it except try to clean up my own stupid mistakes. I also initially made the sides of the clothing, but I ended up deleting them all, and because I didn't have to use them, I was just able to stretch out everything, so that's good at least. I guess it was because my turns weren't that extreme, so I didn't really need a side of the clothing or something. So yeah. I mean, because the turns weren't so extreme, obviously my models look a little stiffer, but that's fine. You know what? As long as the face works, that's all I really care about at that point. The face. If the body looks a little stiff, it's fine. So yeah, you can see more struggling and more trying to like make sure this tank top like does not look too weird. But you know, that it is what it is. I would say like, you know, the pants here, they were probably one of the easier things to rig. It wasn't too hard to rig them. Okay, so here you'll see me rigging the arm accessories. Since he has different arm accessories, I couldn't just copy and paste them. I had to pretty much just like, you know, rig them separately, but it's fine, you know. The thing with him is that he has a lot of asymmetry. The second outfit has a lot of asymmetry as well. It was really annoying to deal with the second outfit, as I said. Like, even the pants on his second outfit were really annoying. Like, I drew them, like, the cuts on the pants were asymmetrical. So it meant I couldn't copy and paste the pant leg over. Like, for his main outfit, like you can see here, like, you know, I could just delete an entire pant leg, just rig one, and then just copy and paste the other, no big deal. Everything is fine, yada yada. But for the secondary outfit, I could not do it. The secondary outfit gave me more of a headache than his demon outfit, and that's saying something because his demon outfit had a lot of detail. So, oh yeah, you'll see me over here trying to rig the damn legs. Was it fun? No. But was, like, the pants for this, like, the most painful thing? Absolutely not. This model definitely, like, you know, it was definitely a lot harder to rig than my main model, yet I got it done a lot faster. And I think part of it is because, like, you know, with my main model, like, you know, she had less parts, but I was, like, a beginner and a newbie with that. With this one, I kind of just, you know, like, yeah, it was a lot more parts, and yeah, it was at a higher difficulty. I was ambitious, okay? But I understood a little bit more of Live2d, so I could rig it a lot faster than, like, you know, my other model. And I'm proud of myself for being able to do this, at least. Oh yeah, here you're gonna see me rig the shoes. They look a little funky, you know, but that's just what happens. That's just what happens when you don't like drawing feet. They just look a little clunky. It was really satisfying to see, like, you know, the entire model move with his outfit once I finished rigging everything, though. The pain that I had to endure for the main outfit was very well worth it. Now, would I ever use draw order on a chest again and then, like, you know, try to rig all the clothes? No. Absolutely not. Oh yeah, earlier I made the toggles. And I had to, like, go ahead and try to fix everything, because one of the issues I have with toggles is when I turn off the toggles, like, you know, they just don't show. Oh yeah, now we're finally doing the second outfit. One of the issues I had was using the auto mesh. The mesh was open, so it made my textures disappear, and I was having a breakdown over them. But luckily I figured everything out, and I tried to, like, you know, it all went well in the end, except for the actual rigging. As I mentioned earlier, this was an extremely painful thing to do. Because, you know, the second outfit just had a lot of, like, you know, she just had a lot of parts. She just had a lot of complexity, and she had a lot of asymmetry. Never again. Actually, now thinking about it, a lot of my characters have those kinds of outfits. And I'm going to have to just deal with it, you know? So again, as you can see here, draw order messed everything up. So I had to go back, change the draw order of everything. And with this outfit, it was even more difficult to do because, like, you know, I have to go back and really make sure things looked right. And on top of that, like, you know, that long sleeve part, I did not cut right. Like, it might be hard for some people to see, but I noticed some small errors rather easily, such as, like, you know, part of, like, the skin sort of showing or whatnot. So yeah, because I had to animate, like, a lot of keyframes for this purely because of draw order, by the way, it ended up, like, you know, I ended up with, like, a lot of keyframes, there was a lot of confusion, and I was just dying in the end. By the time I finished the second outfit, like, completely, I was just happy because it meant it was completely over. This pain was over. But if I ever want to use draw order or something again, I think I'll just try to make sure the character is not wearing long sleeves. Or any sleeves at all, just short sleeves. I'll just give everyone short sleeves, then I don't have to worry about rigging the sleeves and whatnot. Because that's painful. Oh yeah, now you'll see me finally try to rig the pants and whatnot. So, I hit the pant leg of the other pants. Well, like, of the other leg, you know? Because it was distracting me. And I just focused on, like, rigging the right leg and whatnot. Again, rigging the pants is easy, I just don't like doing it twice. Which, again, that was what I had to do. I'm pretty sure there were some slight things that made them look off, but it's whatever, we'll just deal with it, you know? But after, like, you know, the pants and the shirt were done, I had to go on with the shoes. And shoes were easy, even if they kept morphing. What matters is that they covered up the feet and hide my mistakes, you know? Oh yeah, and again, I had to test out toggles and everything, make sure everything is looking correct. The toggles and everything, and making sure everything looks correct was what messed with me the most. Because things kept looking off, things kept looking, like, just overall, it just was not going well. I was struggling. I mean, we've been new. I'm always struggling, you know? So, yeah. The next outfit I obviously had to rig was the demon outfit, and there were a lot of parts to it, but I would say it was much easier than the secondary outfit. If I had to, like, rate the difficulty levels of all the outfits I did, I would probably put the secondary outfit at the very top, the demon outfit at the second, and the main outfit as the easiest. But I expected the demon outfit to be the most difficult because it was the one with the most detail. When it comes to fantasy designs and everything, I put a lot of detail into them. Luckily, like, I had already rigged a lot of the main stuff for the fantasy design. And, like, you know, and then I had to rig a lot of things off camera. But luckily, yeah, I finished everything off camera. So then later I ended up having to do the crying animation and everything. Now, if I'm being honest here, part of the reason why I didn't record wasn't because my program kept crashing, because I think my program kind of got better after that. It was more because, like, a lot of stuff in real life was happening, and I was just in a terrible, terrible mood. So I just kind of but like, I kind of just rigged off camera because it just makes me happy to kind of rig. Yeah, so the next thing I had to do was the tears. If I'm being honest here, like, the tears, they screwed me up. Like, a lot. I actually kept rigging the tears wrong, and they kept showing up when they weren't supposed to because I wasn't paying attention to my keyframes. That's one of the most important things you have to do when you're rigging. You have to pay attention to your keyframes. If you have a bunch of toggles, you need to, like, I should have made the toggles early and then just disabled them. But I didn't do that. Oh yeah, the sleeping animation. I was working on that. That loop was actually kind of fun to do. Even though I was kind of frustrated at first trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. But, hey, at least it worked out in the end, you know? I had to animate the Z's, like, one at a time and then figure out, like, all the opacity stuff and everything. Obviously, like, you know, I still don't have, like, a good sleep animation for the motion tracking Lost. It could have always been better, but a scuffed up sleep animation I feel like is better than no sleep animation. So yeah. Basically, after everything was done, I was just working on, like, the emotion toggles and whatnot. I feel like my biggest regret here was not giving him more emotion toggles because he's a lot more expressive, like, by a long shot, you know? Like, so much more expressive. I should have definitely given him an angry toggle, like, with the popping veins out or something, because he's hot-headed himself, so, yeah. So yeah, here you'll see me struggling with the Z's and, like, you know, the placement of them and everything. But, like, you know, again, it just took, like, a lot of work. So, well, after I, like, made, like, the parameters and everything, I had to obviously go ahead and try to animate, like, you know, animate things and whatnot. So the sleep animation, like, you know, one of the toughest things was timing, making sure it just looked right. And because of how I animated the Z loop, it was really, like, I had to keep redoing and retrying. I couldn't just space them out evenly. I had to pretty much just trial and error, you know? Probably the best way to put it. Though the other parts of the sleeping, like just him going down and just kind of just closing his eyes and everything, that's easy. But, yeah. Honestly, I think one of the reasons why my sleep animation looks janky is because I didn't do like, it just begins with the sleeping. It doesn't begin with transitioning into the sleeping, if that makes sense. I noticed with other models, they have kind of a transition into the sleeping, but I don't. I pretty much just, wow, let's just do this. Just have it janky. But you know what? That's fine. We can just say my model's brands are just janky, you know? But, yeah. Initially I think I spaced out the keyframes in like 10 seconds each, but then it just didn't look so smooth, so I had to just keep experimenting. It obviously looks a little questionable right now and whatnot, but hey, as long as I got it to work in the end, that's all that matters, right? But if I did a sleep animation, I think next time I'll just set the I won't do even parameters. Maybe I'll just think about how fast everything will go and just set, like, you know, the keyframes at those things to make my life easier. And of course, after I like figured out all like the parameters and everything, I went to VTube Studios to try to like set up everything. What I didn't do was record like me creating like some of the expressions and everything. I wish I recorded that, but I was just in a terrible mood, so I just didn't record it, you know. So here you'll see me trying to figure out like an issue, because one of the issues I had when I put on the idle animation crying was, like, you know, for some reason the tear on the right side was showing up when it shouldn't. So then I had to figure out what was wrong. I found out what was wrong was that, like, you know, because I fixed the tear issue on the main like Live2d file, but I didn't like export a new model. And what I had to do was just export a new model to fix it. So I was freaking out over nothing. Lesson learned, just kind of calm down and don't like freak out over everything. He has a lot more toggles than my main model. I gave him actual emotion toggles, and I actually did give him a blush, so when he smiled, like, you know, he got that. But kind of after I figured out all of that, then I would say that model was pretty much just done. Thank you for like watching season 2 of this, and this is how the model looks. Hope you all enjoyed my suffering, and don't worry, there's more to come. Do be on the lookout for like the speed rig and the Live2d showcase. I'll be posting those soon.